Are you worried about building costs continuing to rise and not sure where it's going to end? Is this holding you back from taking on your building project in 2024? In this video, I'll talk to you about how much building prices have gone up, why they've gone up, and stick around to the end of the video where I'll give you my outlook on 2024 and what we can expect with build prices. I'm Josh, I'm over here in New Zealand, and I do a large number of new build projects down here in Wellington. And without a doubt, prices have gone up over the last number of years. But don't take it from me. Economist Tony Alexander says in his latest bulletin, there's been a sharp escalation in build material prices since mid-2021, which none of us expected either here or offshore. There are estimates that build costs have gone up 35 to 45% over the last 3 years. 7 years ago, when I first started doing new builds, square meter rates were anywhere from 1,800 to 2,400 a square meter, and the same house we're building now, build costs are sitting around 3,500 to 4,000 a square meter. So what's been happening in the past couple of years? Well, do you guys remember COVID?
From 11:59 p.m. tonight, we will close our border.
Yeah, so that happened. And basically overnight, we went from having a safe, steady, reliable source of product to having to book weatherboards 42 weeks out. That was nuts. And basic high school economics would tell you as soon as demand goes up and supply goes down, you move along that curve and the price changes. Not only did COVID put pressure on supply and demand, but then we came out of a multi-year period of consents being at an all-time high. Again, according to Tony Alexander, it was 51,000 consents from May 21 to May 22. This building boom combined the fact that we're a small island nation right at the bottom corner of the world, put huge pressure on our supply chain. Basically, an increase in demand and a decrease in ability to supply meant not only was it hard to get material prices, but then pricing just went up and up and up. Things like the raw cost of metal went up as much as 50%, and then that got passed on to all those manufactured products. Not only did raw materials go up, but building has got more complicated. For all the work they're doing in government, they are actually making us navigate more and more hoops on site. We've got to include more things in the build, like water tanks, and every job now needs an intense engineer's report before we start. And the consenting process, without a doubt, is getting more complicated. And then building regulations are increasing minimum values such as insulation, and that is just pushing up build cost. Not only is it that the insulation we have to put in the wall is thicker, but the ways we have to achieve the new code means in certain builds we need to build more building to be able to wrap around, which means new systems, new adjustment periods. The belief at a government level is that by making everyone have to do this, it will drive the price down. And we'll talk about that a little bit at the end of the video. Without a doubt, some prices have started to stabilize or even come down. But there are definite things that we weren't doing before that we have to do now that are adding a 10K cost to a build that wasn't there before. Inflation's been at an all-time high, and the Reserve Bank is doing all they can to drive that down. That is looking like it's coming down, but globally fuel costs have been going crazy. There's been an extreme labor shortage in the New Zealand market for a long time now. Unemployment is at great low numbers, but that means it's really hard to find good workers and it's really hard to keep them, which means it's harder for businesses to produce all of the materials we need to produce, and harder for the service companies that actually service your builds. So then to get good, reliable people, we're paying them more. All of those costs get handed on. Line by line, we're seeing prices go up, even compared to a year and a half ago. But it's not all doom and gloom, and there is good news. One thing we do want to keep going up and up and up is our subscriber count. So if you are watching this video and you haven't already, go ahead, click the subscribe button, jump on board. In the later half of this year, I have seen the prices not only stabilize, but in some instances start to decrease. I've seen a little bit more ability in the market to haggle for a good price. Not only my clients haggling with me, but my ability to haggle with my team. I've seen a little bit more competition and hustle in subcontractors quoting for work. So what does that mean for you as a client? First and foremost, costs have gone up and we can't change that. But costs don't go up on a linear line. They go up and then they stabilize, and then they go up and then they stabilize. And I believe we're at the start of a stabilization period. The next 2 years would be a great time to build and lock it in. You know the saying about a tree, the best time to plant it was 20 years ago. The next best time to plant it is right now. And I think that's the same with building. If you've got a building project that you're thinking about, you know who you are, and you have been sitting on a section for the last 15 years wondering what square meter rates are, now is the time to move, because I don't believe that building costs are going to go down much more. I think they're going to stabilize and then they're going to go up again. All the people I'm talking to in the industry are feeling really positive about 2024. We've still got slots if you would like to build with us, but we are going into the new year feeling way more positive about the outlook and the building environment than we did coming into 2023.